Last year when I was pregnant, I had gone to see my primary care for a checkup, and everything, thank goodness, was fine, but she did notice a mole on my back that she had asked me to follow up with at the dermatologist. But being pregnant, I had forgotten all about it. I remember a few weeks later, there was something nagging at me, and then I was reading through my notes, and I saw the notation that said, referred to follow up with dermatologist. So I immediately went to the dermatologist, and she felt that it needed to be removed. I was so incredibly relieved, primarily, and I felt this sense of safety as well, because I actually had a hand in what was going on with my own health care.
What this patient exemplifies for me is what we've been hoping to do for the last 30 years. Really find mechanisms to get patients much more actively involved in their care.
The OpenNotes study was a one-year experiment in which primary care doctors invited their patients to read their visit notes online after the visit.
What we're doing now is reporting on what we learned, both from surveys and anecdotes of patients, of doctors, and also by measuring email traffic.
When I was asked to join OpenNotes, I got to say I had a lot of ambivalence initially. I didn't know how much extra work that would represent. I already feel busy, at times stressed, so I wasn't sure how it would all work out. I kind of braced for it being a big deal, and it wasn't much of a big deal.
Doctors told us they didn't notice more questions or emails or phone calls from patients.
Contrary to the fears of many of the doctors, very few patients were worried or confused by this. On the other hand, 90% of them read their notes, far more than we expected.
And when we asked the patients what they got out of the notes, it was really pretty amazing. Over 80% of patients said things like they understood their care better, they remembered their plan of care better, they felt more in control of their care.
And most excitingly at all to this doctor, 2 out of 3 patients who are on medicines said they're taking their medicines better.
Having it written down, it's almost like there's another person telling you to take your meds.
It's good to listen to your arteries here.
There's no question in my mind that those people who became engaged in the program became more engaged in their own health care. They came better prepared for their visits. They asked better questions. They knew their medications and their doses when they came in.
I feel like I know my medical life better because of the OpenNotes.
The findings of this study suggest that this kind of transparency is here to stay. At the end of the study, we gave doctors the option to discontinue OpenNotes, and not one of them did. And 99% of the patients wanted OpenNotes to continue. 85% of them said that they would consider the availability of OpenNotes in choosing a provider in the future.
For me to be able to look back on notes and make sure that the doctor did see everything that I wanted her to see, or did record everything I wanted him or her to record in a way that I find suitable for me as a patient, hands down, I would never go back to not having that access and availability.
I view OpenNotes as a new medicine. It's designed to help most people, and I think it does. It has contraindications for some, but overall, I think the benefits will way outweigh the costs, and it will move care forward. In fact, I really hope that this kind of transparency will become the standard of care in this country and around the world in the next very few years.